Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux and Game 4 of the English GT 2017. After a bit of a bruising first day, I find myself on table 11. My goal for this tournament was to win more games than I lose, and I'm currently 1-2, so it's going to be a bit of an uphill struggle. This board was pretty cool, and very appropriate to be fighting Neverborn on, so we've got basically hard cover, height 2, height 1, impassable probably little toy blocks. We've got a severe terrain river and some normal terrain domino bridges. That's pretty much it. My opponent deployed first and really weighted her flank over here, which I'm going to admit was I was liking the look of that, as I thought it would fit quite nicely with my game plan, which we will get to in a second. My opponent had brought Nikima with 1,000 faces, a Sorrow, I think that's Candy, Pandora with Voices and Depression, a Doppelganger with Retribution's Eye. In front of her might be the Mysterious Effigy, and Iggy is around here somewhere, but I can't see him. My recollection is he was somewhere over here. For me, I've got a Performer, Sebastian with Those Are Not Ours, McMorning with Moonlighting, Plastic Surgery and Decaying Aura, a Nurse, Rafkin, the Zombie Chihuahua, the Carrion Emissary with McMorning's Conflux, and another Performer. I brought the Performers because it's squatters' rights and they're excellent for taking the markers, and the rest of my guys are pretty core to my crew and awesome in all ways. I faced Pandora once before. I faced the Box Opens version. This is my first time against Voices, and I know she's a horrendous murder devil. And with Nikima the Doppelganger and Sorrow in tow, I'm pretty sure that's heat I don't want to deal with. But the way my opponent chose to deploy is interesting, and it's telling me quite a lot, I think. Elements of it are obviously fairly nippy, but my impression was going into this game that this crew wants to stick together and is otherwise that makes it fairly slow. It's clear my opponent intends to camp on these markers and secure her points. And then I'm eyeing up this Doppelganger as it's looking like it might want to try to make a run into my backfield. And Mysterious Effigy could also fill that role, and so I think it's likely that my opponent's taken either Leave Your Mark or Covert Breakthrough. Doesn't seem to have enough resources to, but given how the crew's castled up, I'm pretty sure they're not doing Claim Jump. As they seem to want to camp in one place, it would make sense that they've gone with either Accusation or Leave Their Mark. So that's what I'm sort of guessing my opponent's trying to do, which works out quite nicely for my plans. So I want to be getting something into their backfield. I want one of the Performers there so that she can be dropping markers regardless. And the plan is to get a Canine Remains out with Sebastian and using the Emissary Zombie, and that can run pretty handily into the backfield, no problem. And it's quite convenient that there's nothing over here to stop me. And if the Neverborn do want to get across to stop me, then they'll have to split off from the main force probably. And I should be in a decent enough position to defend because I'm planning to camp on these two markers and make sure I've got my points in the bag for the strategy. From there, the plan is to slowly extend towards my opponent and mark for death and kill off the extremities of her crew. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket with ever going for all marker dropping. It probably would have been a good idea, but I figure at some point we're going to have to engage each other. And I'm going for Mark for Death because I like killing and because Accusation is pretty easy for Pandora to mess around with all her insights. To make life a pain for my opponent, I've left a Performer over here just guarding my backfield. And the danger here is that I can blow up any scheme markers that get put down from range, or just run in and don't mind me pick them up. Manipulative and this hard cover will hopefully keep her safe a bit. And basically my opponent's going to have to commit resources to come out and get her if she wants to score any points, which will hopefully weaken her hold on the centre and allow me to push across more easily. And I've got the Carrion Emissary who's going to pop up here and then come back and act as a bit of backup for my Performer. So that's the plan. It's rare that the game opens up quite as clearly to me this early. Let's see if I'm right. Turn 1, lovely hand, I'll be keeping hold of some of those. The Neverborn move up to control these markers, and the Resurrectionists push up a little bit more gradually. Sebastian's just gone up and gone defensive and positioned himself in such a way that wherever McMorning goes, I'll be able to see him and get my poison push for the beginning of next turn. The Carrion Emissary is double walked, getting all the way over here. giving everyone extra movement and dropping the shards of Kythera here so that I can get a zombie, which will mean I can get a dog next turn quite far up the field. Pandora moves up to get cozy with the rest of her crew, and at the end of the turn things look like this. My performer's hiding out behind these little posts. She's taken some pot shots from something, I'm not sure whether it was Insight or Iggy throwing some fire, can't remember. But she's otherwise doing me proud and preparing to make a nuisance of herself next turn. The rest of my guys have run forward to start camping around these squat markers. The nurse hit McMorning up for lots and lots of poison. McMorning has injectioned the performer up, so she was able to run up pretty far. And then thanks to the emissary's extra movement, I was able to get up and actually claim this squat marker, it looks like. And the Chihuahua is preparing for his poison run next turn. After upkeep, McMorning pushes back to safety. I like to try to taunt my opponents with this, exposing him and then pulling him back at the end of the turn. Although usually it goes too late to actually pull any model out of position. But I like to think it messes with people planning their next turn. And I've also got my zombie out. Turn 2, there's been no fighting, so those good cards are still in my hand. Things start happening pretty quickly. We've got the mysterious effigy claiming this squat marker, Iggy coming up, I think throwing off some pot shots at my performer again. She's fine. We've got the Sorrow just shuffling forwards, getting into position. And for my part, Sebastian's come up, summoned a dog off the zombie, and the dog's gone up forwards, running for the backfield. Rafkin's taken this second squat marker and kind of left this one exposed, just hoping maybe luring something out to come and try to take it from me. My nurse has run up to try to be useful, and Nakima has not taken the bait to coming over here, but as expected, gone after the performer. Trying to clear out this corner, no doubt. And looking at this, maybe I should have waited with the nurse, because that would be quite nice to get a paralyze on Nakima. But I think I was hoping just to get bodies up into the fray and looking for the paralyze on Pandora. But yeah, so Nakima's come in, and thanks to manipulative and some good luck, my performer stays just dandy. It looks like Candy's come forward and claimed this squat marker. I've gone with my performer, just going to the maximum of Nakima's melee, getting out of Black Blood range, keep her around. I might have tried to hit her and poison her first, but missed. And so with the performer gone, the doppelganger shoots out and drops a marker. So it's leave your mark then. My performer wanders over to the enemy deployment zone and drops a marker of her own. Pandora comes forward and paralyzes my nurse, and that's all the Neverborn gone, so it's time to get aggressive. The zombie chihuahua runs in and poisons everybody around here. My emissary drops its shards over here, runs around into the stream, just getting into position for next turn. So I can try to bash Nakima or into this happy party over here. McMorning gets his poison push. He then can run around getting extra walk from the emissary and then manages to get a charge on Nakima, doing very little. Oh, and this marker here showing that she's marked for death. The performer must have marked her for death rather than hitting her. So as I say, rather disappointing, didn't do much damage to Nakima. So I use my injection to get the performer away to safety, and then at the end of the turn use my poison push to come over and block the leave your mark marker. We were counting these books as just normal terrain. They flapped open and closed and everything. And so at the end of this turn, we both score 4 squatters' rights. Turn 3, another solid hand. I was really lucky this game. So lucky, in fact. So I lose the initiative and the doppelganger goes, copies, mimics Nakima, and I'm thinking, oh dear, this is going to hurt. And she black jokers the mimic. Oh, goodness. You've got to feel for that. It looks like my nurse goes and tries to paralyze Pandora. Guess the nurse wasn't paralyzed last turn. Yeah, I black joker my own attempt at this. And then Pandora goes and paralyzes everybody. Pretty nasty that. But it doesn't stop the Chihuahua from activating and giving everyone more poison at the end when he ends his activation. Do love that Chihuahua. McMorning marks the doppelganger for death and brings her down, making a nice pretty flesh construct. The Chihuahua dies valiantly to some enraged Neverborn. And trying to work out what happened here, I think Nakima dropped a scheme marker and then went over to stand near my performer, but because of her, she's got such a long engagement range, the performer just walked around to go and block the second scheme marker. The rest of my guys just dogpile the Neverborn camp, so the what's it called? The Flesh Construct coming in from the right, and the rest of my guys coming in from the left. Sebastian runs up all the way to stand on top of this piece of terrain, so that he's got a nice view of all these nice poisoned models. And it looks like the Sorrow succumbed by the end of the term. Rafkin's coming forward, and the zombie to kind of just help out. I'm dropping markers all over the backfield. And I'm pretty sure one of my guys has been accused. It might be the nurse. I can't see how it could be the performer. So yeah, the end of the turn looks like this. I think I forget to push McMorning. The Neverborn soaking out their soul stones to prevent the poison. And I quite like how things are shaping up. Turn 4. I think I get the initiative and go with the emissary before he gets paralysed again. Poop out a flesh construct, because it's the only 6-stone model I've got. And then charge into the thick of things, not really doing much. But the primary goal is to try to tie these guys down so they can't run out and accuse my various other models. Pandora goes and paralyses and accuses various models. It's hard to see which ones, but I think Sebastian, the nurse, and Rafkin. Or presumably she accuses someone as well, I can't remember. Stuff is paralysed, something's accused. Flesh Construct and McMorning mark and kill the effigy. Performer picks up Nakima's marker, and Nakima still can't kill her. Oh my god. This was ridiculous. At the end of the turn, McMorning poison pushes to block this marker. He's such a dick. Turn 5, and my hand finally calms down a bit. We'll go back up to this picture as I don't have a good one of the opening moves. I go with my emissary, thinking to use up his activation so that he can't be accused, and paralyse myself for activating first near Candy. C'est la vie. Pandora then goes and paralyses just about everybody else. And I think the Neverborn are now more or less out of soul stones, and the poison damage is starting to pick up. Howling her curses at the skies, Nakima is forced to still keep playing Scheme Runner, accuse the performer, and do nothing else. The performer then in turn hits her, taking damage from the Nephilim's corrosive blood, and then McMorning moves over, charges Nakima, and in his enthusiasm to do some improvised surgery on the Great Nephilim, he accidentally kills the performer with Nakima's blood. Whoopsie daisy. And so as we close, things look like this. My Flesh Construct has taken this squat marker and stood on it, but Pandora managed, I think because everyone was paralysed and had no engagement, Pandora and Candy managed to take this one back. Team marker drop have dropped lots of markers, and McMorning poison pushes just to within range to block the ski marker one last time. And there ends the game. Final scores. Pandora scored 4 points for Squatters' Rights. Could not get her off those markers. 2 points for accusation and no points for leave your mark, not for lack of trying though. McMorning scored 4 points for Squatters' Rights, 3 points for covert breakthrough, and 3 points for mark for death, making this game 10-6 to the Resurrectionists. That was really fun. I certainly can't complain about how that went. Super lucky for me at times, and very unlucky for my opponent. That Black Joker at the start really put my opponent in a very tricky position. Was really impressed by Voices Pandora. I mean, look at this. She just kept my entire crew paralysed. Pretty much the whole game. But to be honest, in this situation, I was completely fine with that. They weren't the ones scoring me my points. So I was more than happy for them to distract Pandora, whilst McMorning and my dog and my performer were running around on the flanks. And I was thinking, I'm really glad Pandora didn't go after McMorning. There's really very little I can do to stop her. But if she did go after him, then these guys would just tear through the midline. So I think she was in quite a difficult position there. Having Nakima get drawn off on chasing this performer around all game was really big, and I really shouldn't have gotten as much mileage out of this as I did. Being able to keep the Neverborn activated meant that I could keep my manipulative off, which just ate their hand whenever they tried to attack the performer. And yeah, I still can't believe Nakima didn't kill her. So things panned out pretty much as I thought they would, and I'm pretty pleased with the result, obviously. Although going back and doing this video makes me realise just how risky certain things were, like getting McMorning all the way out over here exposed. And I certainly got really lucky with this game. Many thanks to my opponent, and so we finished this. I'm now 2 wins for 2 losses. Going into the final game of the tournament, there's still a chance I can meet my objective and win more games than I lose. I will see you for the last game. Take care.